The Adventures of a Revolutionary Soldier, Joseph Plumb Martin's Campaign of 1776. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're delving into the riveting first-hand account of Joseph Plumb Martin, a young soldier who fought in the thick of the Revolutionary War. Now, if you think you know the American Revolution, Joseph's story might just surprise you. In 1776, the war was raging, tensions were high, and the future of the colonies hung in the balance. Martin's memoir gives us an unfiltered, no-holds-barred look at the realities of war from the perspective of an ordinary soldier. So, let's journey together through his campaign of 776 and experience the revolution through his eyes. Awakening of patriotism. Imagine being 15, and the biggest discussions around you are about breaking away from a powerful empire. That's Joseph in the winter of 1775. He's soaking up debates between local farmers in Connecticut, arguments about taxes, British impositions, and the burning desire for independence. These fiery discussions ignite a spark in young Joseph. He starts feeling that patriotic pull, eager to defend his homeland. But let's be real, he's also just a teenager, wrestling with the looming reality of war. Can you blame him for being a bit hesitant? The decision to enlist. One evening, Joseph overhears his grandmother expressing fears about him joining a man of war. Instead of deterring him, it solidifies his resolve. He decides it's time. He heads to the enlistment rendezvous, heart pounding. Amidst banter and peer pressure, he wavers. But then, summoning his courage, he picks up the pen. With a shaky hand, he signs his name. Boom. Just like that, Joseph is a soldier. Journey to New York. Armed with his grandparents' reluctant blessings, some necessities, and a pocket Bible tucked in his knapsack, Joseph embarks on a sloop bound for New York. Crossing the notorious Hell Gate Passage, known for its tricky currents, is usually a rite of passage for newbies. But Joseph? He's been through before, so he skips the initiation rites. Arriving in New York City, he's hit with the city's energy, a stark contrast to his rural upbringing. Training begins, and reality sets in. The drills are intense, the accommodations sparse, and army life isn't the grand adventure he imagined. First taste of warfare. Things heat up when British ships Phoenix and Rose brazenly sail past New York. Cannons thunder, but instead of fear, Joseph feels excitement. Yep, he describes the cannon fire as almost musical to his ears. Then comes the infamous wine cellar incident. Soldiers discover a stash of Madeira wine and can't resist. Word gets to General Israel Putnam, a strict disciplinarian. Fearing punishment, Joseph quickly disposes of his illicit wine. Talk about a close shave. Life as a soldier in the city. Life in the city isn't a picnic. Supplies are tight, and the soldiers make do with hard biscuits, so hard they'd break the teeth of a rat. Yet amidst the hardship, bonds form. Soldiers swap stories, share jokes, and navigate the quirks of military life together. Joseph observes the kaleidoscope of personalities, brave hearts, complainers, and everything in between. Deployment to Long Island. August arrives, bringing orders to move out to Long Island. The British have landed forces, and the tension is palpable. Joseph is both anxious and exhilarated. His first real battle is imminent. The Battle of Long Island unfolds chaotically. The American forces are outflanked and outgunned. Joseph experiences the confusion and adrenaline of combat, realizing that war is far messier than he'd ever imagined. The Kips Bay encounter. Now let's talk about the debacle at Kips Bay. On September 15, 1776, British forces launch a massive assault supported by naval bombardment. The American defenses crumble almost instantly. Joseph witnesses the mayhem firsthand. Soldiers flee in panic, officers are nowhere to be found, and chaos reigns. He grapples with his sense of duty versus the instinct to survive. It's a harrowing experience that shakes his perception of war. Reflection on leadership and courage. Joseph doesn't mince words when it comes to critiquing cowardice. He recounts a lieutenant who, convinced of impending doom, goes around seeking forgiveness from his men. A real morale booster, right? But he also highlights acts of genuine courage. Amidst the fear and confusion, there are those who stand firm, exemplifying true bravery. Joseph's observations offer a candid look into the varied reactions of men under extreme stress. Aftermath of defeat. After the retreat, Joseph manages to reconnect with his regiment. The mood is grim. They tally the missing and reflect on the disastrous events. Then comes the episode of the condemned sergeant. Accused unjustly of mutiny, simply for following orders, he's sentenced to be executed. The troops are furious. Whispers of mutiny spread. At the 11th hour, a reprieve is granted. Relief washes over the men, but the incident leaves a bitter taste. Hardships and survival. Survival becomes a daily struggle. With starvation looming, soldiers scavenge for anything edible. Joseph describes making a meal out of a sheep's head, hardly gourmet fare. Exposure to the elements adds to their woes. Nights are freezing, gear is inadequate, but camaraderie helps them push through. Jokes, songs, and shared stories become lifelines in these tough times. The Battle of White Plains. October brings the pivotal Battle of White Plains. British General Howe aims to deal a decisive blow. On October 28th, the battle erupts. Joseph is in the front lines as musket fire and artillery shells fill the air. The Continental Army, though valiant, is forced to withdraw. Joseph reflects on the brutal realities of war and the steep price of pursuing liberty. Humanity amidst war. In the midst of conflict, humanity shines through. After a skirmish, Joseph helps bury a dead soldier. Two local sisters approach the grave, sorrow evident in their eyes. They tenderly place a white gauze handkerchief over the soldier's face, a simple yet profound act of compassion. This moment deeply affects Joseph, reminding him of the shared humanity that transcends sides in a war. Interactions with civilians. Not all civilians are friendly. Joseph encounters Tories, colonists loyal to the crown, who openly support King George. In one memorable exchange, an enslaved man passionately argues in favor of the British. Joseph is struck by the complexities of loyalty and freedom, highlighting the nuanced spectrum of beliefs among the populace. Decline in health and spirits. As the campaign wears on, illness grips the army. Exposure, hunger, and fatigue take their toll. Joseph falls ill and is evacuated to Norwalk, Connecticut. There, the sick soldiers face not only their ailments, but also limited medical care. Yet, small acts of kindness from locals and fellow soldiers make a difference, offering slivers of hope in a bleak time. Return to camp and continued service. Ever resilient, Joseph recovers and returns to his regiment. Conditions remain harsh, supply shortages persist, and winter looms. He grapples with internal conflicts, questioning the worth of the cause against the harsh realities faced. But solidarity with his comrades and belief in the fight for independence keep him anchored. Discharge and journey home. On December 25, 1776, yes, Christmas Day, Joseph is officially discharged. He has endured one of the most grueling years of the Revolution. As he begins his journey home, he reflects on the whirlwind of experiences. Relief, pride, doubt, they all swirl within him. The war continues, but for now, he can rest. Reunion and rest. Back in Connecticut, Joseph reunites with his grandparents. Their joy is palpable. Over hearty meals, he shares tales of his adventures, probably glossing over the worst parts. He embraces the comforts of home, resolving to stay put. After all he's been through, who could blame him for wanting peace? Epilogue. Yet, even as Joseph settles back into civilian life, there's a hint of restlessness. The fight for independence isn't over, and deep down, he feels the call of duty. His experiences have forever changed him. He's witnessed sacrifice, felt the sting of defeat, and tasted small victories. The seeds are sown for his eventual return to the ranks. Credits and acknowledgments. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into Joseph Plumb Martin's campaign of 1776. His memoir is an invaluable window into the everyday life of a soldier during the Revolution. These personal narratives enrich our understanding of history. If you're as fascinated as I am, I highly recommend reading his full account. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more historical explorations. And let's always remember the courage and sacrifice of those who fought for the freedoms we enjoy today.